All right, we've got our gun blank here, and here's our go-by. I know you all don't have a gun at home just like this one, but you can get on the internet, and you can certainly find a lot of good pictures of them. And two good places to look is Cabela's.com, that's Cabelas.com. That's a fishing, hunting catalog, but it has lots of great pictures of old-style weapons. You can go to DixieGunworks.com. Dixie, I wish I was in the land of the cotton. That kind of DixieGunworks.com. And I think both these places will give you a free catalog. I know Cabela's will. And just full of reference material, especially for weapons, all kinds of guns and weapons. So anyway, we're going to try to carve a holster like this or similar to this. So what we want to do is we just want to take a moment and look at this holster. Now this holster is held on the gun belt by this strap right here, which is part of this piece of leather right here. This whole thing is one piece except for this strap, which comes around here and holds it all together. We're not going to worry about this part right here. So just disregard that. We're only going to do the front portion because this gun is going to be mounted directly against his side. And it is going to be a little larger than scale. That's okay, it's a caricature, we can do that. Okay? So we want to get the basic shape of this gun. Thick at the top, thinner at the bottom. And this side here is kind of flat. So this will be flat against this side, and this will come in instead of both of them going this way. This side will go in, this will be flat against his leg. Understand? Now, we can go ahead and pretty well shape that. I'm going to do this real quickly, and I probably won't show you the whole process because I don't think you need to see every individual chip that I take to get the idea of what I'm doing. Okay? I had to go wash my hands after that gun demonstration because I had gun oil all over them. So just like when you're painting, when you're whittling, every once in a while you got to stop and go wash your hands. Now I am going to smooth this or clean this up back here so it's nice and clean. And I have to take into consideration which way that grain's running. Remember, it splits off one way and curls off the opposite. Just keep your figure handy till you let it guide you. As you're doing this. I've roughed out the basic shape of the gun, just the very basic shape of it. And I went in and I penciled in the holster shape here. Just down enough, not a lot, just enough to indicate the trigger in here, okay? And here's the strap going across the front. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and carve that. That. On the back side, it's going to go against his leg. Don't carve the strap, leave it flat. Okay, because we want this whole area back here laying flat against his leg. And when we go to mate it up there, we're going to carve that area, either the gun or the chaps or the belts or whatever, to where that lays flat against the carbon. We don't want any light coming through there. it's carved out of several pieces of wood, we want it to look like it was really only carved out of one. Not that there's anything wrong with carving something out of one piece of wood, we're just not doing that. Get that side done. See, as I put these details on here, this holster is getting smaller and smaller. This is why I say is when you're drawing something off of a pattern, always take into consideration the wood you're going to be carving off. So don't draw your or cut your blank on the exact figure that's being carved. Allow a little extra. Looks pretty good. We'll come back and detail that a little bit more. Now I'll come up here at the top and carve this portion. Areas and like this here is really where this old reliable comes in handy. Yep, here's somebody out mowing their yard. Spring is here. Now this, I'm going to go on, carve around the back, because we're talking about two pieces here. This is the gun up top, and the holster's down below, so we want to indicate that. We want some light up here, okay? So there we go. Let me get a little definition here, and you can see this a little better. I like to catch the flare that always seems to occur at the end of something. By that I mean this part right here. See how it occurs on this chat bottoms? How it occurs on the decoration on the chat tops? That little flare really makes it look slick. I like that. Back here, it occurs there, up here, even on the boots, right there. That little flare right there, that indicates the top of his boot, where his pants come down, hit the top of his boot, and flare out. Little details like that, I love to do those details. Okay, so there, we've got his holster pretty well lined out there. Put a little of that flare right here. Oh, and remember that bullet I was telling you about that my son and I shot and came back and slapped him in the chest? Here, I have it right here. If Judy will zoom in on that, let's see if you can show you the little detail on this. If you look real close, see those marks? That's the rifling inside the barrel of that pistol. Where when this thing came out of there, that rifling set it spinning. made it go to its true mark. Like I say, you can tell that I didn't have much, it's a little bit misshapen, but not much. I didn't have that much powder in there, so fortunately, it just gave him a good whack in the chest and nothing more than that. Okay, let's look and see what we've done here. Take a look at our gun. Alright, so let's go ahead and draw on some of the detail of the gun. We have the holster pretty well lined out, so now we're going to do the gun. And what I'm doing here is I'm drawing in the metal line where the wooden handle meets the metal. This comes up. Like that, see there? And then we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So I'm going to take this down a little more. Same thing on the back side. See, that cylinder's hidden down in here, the thickest part of the gun right here, so we don't have to worry about that, right? Right. So another thing, back here on the back part, we want to get a good shape of the handle. Okay, that's important. Let me redraw that back in here again. It comes right up there like that. Comes across here. Come down. And then the trigger comes up here like that, then up. Up like that. And up. Okay? So we're eliminating a lot of the hard to carve detail by doing it this way and using that kind of holster is allowing us to get away with a lot of the detail carving. Do the same back here. And off there. See there, it's starting to look like a gun, huh? Okay, this video is getting pretty long. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a notch right in here to indicate the outline of that trigger. Get out of there. See there, we just did that. And I'm going to thin it down. Okay, now for the trigger. We don't want to make this too fragile up here. So we want to indicate a little bit of the shape of it, but we don't have to indicate a lot. Because if we go and actually carve it exactly how it looks, it's going to be so fragile that it's going to break, and we just certainly don't want that. One thing we got going is our grain is running up and down with the gun, so this trigger has a lot of strength to it. But still yet, we don't want to get too weak. I think that looks pretty good. And I want to use my other knife and come in here and kind of give a little bit of design to it. Don't have to be a lot, just a little bit. And it's awful long, so I'm going to cut it down a little, just like that. Maybe cut that in there just a little bit more. There, that looks pretty good. Notch in there just a little bit bigger. Get rid of all my chips. There we go. Get a little more flatter back here. A little more flare up here. Make it a little narrower down here. about it's looking pretty good if I do say so myself. Now, the trigger detail. There's the trigger guard, it's right there, and then this comes up and goes in like that. Okay? Let's take a look at that trigger. Alright, it's right back against that. Now I'm not going to carve this. I'm going to burn that with my burning tool. And I'm also going to burn the metal detail at the end of the pistol. I'll just take that and burn that right on there, like that. Burn it right on down underneath the gun, like that. I'll burn around here, around there, and I'll burn these areas there just to outline those things. And this gun will look pretty spiffy, all ready to carve, all ready to paint. Now what we want to do is we're going to put this onto his body with a 1/8 inch dowel, and we're going to anchor it about right there. See, it don't look so bulky now, but it's big. He's got quite a hog leg there, and that's okay because it's a caricature, and that gun's going to look pretty great once it's on there and anchored down. And then, like I say, we're going to shave this area on his leg down. I'm not going to show you how to do it. You should know how to do it because this video is getting longer and longer. Anyway, I'm going to shave that down to where that rests right against his leg, and hopefully no daylight or hardly any daylight will show through there. It's not going to bother me if some daylight showed through there because it showed through there in real life, so I'm not really going to be concerned about that. But the more we have this flat against the leg, the more secure it will be. That's really what I'm after, okay? And we'll do that later on in this video series. So right now I have to start thinking about these arms, and we'll do that in the next one coming up. See you later.